why I guess in some sense, why even am I a Bitcoiner? I think I'm trying to think of a good, like, kind of a clean way of putting this. I am far more interested in getting to a point where we live on a Bitcoin standard than watching my Bitcoin appreciate. And I realize that may come across as, but probably some people just don't believe me, right? Which I totally get. They might think that that's just disingenuous and, kind of virtue signaling or whatever. And I would try to convince anyone who has reacted that way that I don't at all mean that I would encourage anyone else to try to have that attitude too. I don't mean it as a virtue signal or anything. And it's also not to say that it's like, oh, I just don't care, right? It's like, oh, I'm not even stacking sats in the first place because who cares? That's obviously not the point. It's, there's a whole well understood, well discussed rationale of how important it is that actually there is a selfish motivation for this. So the point I'm making is not at all that, oh, I'm perfectly selfless. It's more that the end goal for me is, and the reason, I kind of want this to happen as quickly as possible, is that I just want to live in that world, right? I'm not particularly, I think there's also a component, just to go right back to the question, there's a component of honestly feeling kind of powerless against the collapse of fiat. It's, as I said, I think it's inevitable. Like it is imploding. It is clearly unsustainable. I'm not sure what I can do, if anything, to make its implosion less traumatic. I think all I can really do is ensure that I will be okay and that my family will be okay. And to some people that means prepping, sure. To me, I think it's more just about, I guess this is a nice way of putting it. To me, it's more about human capital. So I think you could, probably most people wouldn't, this is a very like overly rhetorical way of describing it, but prepping as such is about accumulating the physical capital that you think you'll need when fiat wipes out all the other things that people rely on. And I get the appeal of that. I am honestly more interested, for me personally, I'm more interested in ensuring that I will always be able to create value for others such that I'll probably be okay. But the faster we get to a Bitcoin standard, the easier I think that will be. That's